Welcome to Food and Facilities, an online show for West Coast Industrial Solutions magazine. Our goal is to cultivate knowledge to feed the world by focusing our quarterly trade issues on safety, compliance, and innovation within manufacturing, agriculture, food processing, and food and beverage industries. This episode, we will be discussing the new business as usual with COVID-19.
Hi, my name is Tara Sweeney and I'll be your host today. And this is Food and Facilities. This is our first show. And I wanted to talk to you all about COVID-19 and how it's going to be affecting agribusiness. So, do subscribe to West Coast Industrial Solutions magazine. We will be providing more information as this goes forward and updating our blog post for this article. The magazine has been put to print, but we are still open for subscriptions. So go to WCISmag.com/subscribe and subscribe today. So this will be about the new business as usual with COVID-19. So this is how it will be affecting all of the critical sectors, and we will be discussing several points today. So here's the overview. We're going to be discussing the symptoms of COVID-19, what to do if you contract COVID-19, and then all of the effects that it's going to be having on the industry and the specific critical sectors that it will be affecting. And then also we will be discussing the Family First Coronavirus Response Act and what small businesses can do to be able to respond and what assistance will be available to them during the outbreak. So first we're going to be covering the World Health Organization's symptoms for COVID-19. So common symptoms include fever, tiredness, and cough. Other symptoms can be shortness of breath, aches and pains, and sore throat. A few very uncommon symptoms are diarrhea, nausea, and a runny nose. But prevention is simple. From the National Health Service on how to properly wash your hands. Make sure to wash between your fingers and wash the tops of your fingers and your thumb pads. It's that simple. Now, if you contract COVID-19, this is what the Center of Disease Control suggests. They have 10 advisories. So if you have mild symptoms or are otherwise healthy, you should self-isolate and contact your medical provider or a COVID-19 information line for advice on testing and referrals. If you have fever, cough, or difficulty breathing, you should call your doctor and seek medical attention. You should call ahead before visiting your doctor. They will be inundated with other customers and patients, and you need to be able to give them time to schedule everyone out. Make sure to separate yourself from people and animals in your home because you can, despite the fact that animals cannot contract it, they can pass it on if you leave it on their fur. Avoid sharing personal household items, and make sure to wear a face mask. Cover your coughs and sneezes with your elbow, and make sure to wash your hands often for at least 20 seconds, as shown in the video. Clean all of your high-touch surfaces, these are your phones, doorknobs, steering wheels, etc., daily, and make sure to monitor your symptoms. So one of our promotional offers that we have from one of our sponsors, Fine Print Plus, if you mention that you saw this ad on our show, you will get 100 free direct mailer postcards or 15% off any orders of 250 plus of those postcards. That way you can directly contact any of your clients and they are able to translate it. So make sure to contact them there at that phone number, email, and their website for contactless ordering. Now, here are some facts that the Center of Disease Control is emphasizing about COVID-19. There's 5 facts here. Diseases can make anyone sick regardless of their race or ethnicity. Some people are at increased risk of COVID-19, those above 60 years of age and those with pre-existing health conditions. Someone who has completed quarantine or has been released does not pose an infection risk. You can help stop COVID-19 by knowing the signs and symptoms, as we stated before. So make sure to monitor and use protective precautions such as face masks to keep others safe. Here are some FEMA fact checks on some misinformation that has been going around lately. Hantavirus is not a new disease. It is a disease that started about 1991, and it is passed by touching the fecal matter of rats. It is not passed from person to person necessarily, and it's extremely uncommon for it to be passed person to person. 2, there's no national lockdown. It is a local level. So your state representatives, your governors, they are going to be in control of whether your city or state are in lockdown. 3, FEMA does not have military assets. It is most effective for these lockdowns to be enacted by National Guard on the local level and all of your local representatives to put them out as needed. Stockpiling supplies is not suggested. Food is likely to spoil, and right now, if you inundate grocery stores, you will be making the supply and demand chain much more difficult to fulfill, and you have to give them time to resupply. So, government has allowed checks now to help with COVID-19. They have not gone out yet. It will take at least 5 to 6 weeks for these checks to go out. If you have done your taxes, you will receive a direct deposit. If anyone is contacting you about giving you a check currently, it is a scam. Please avoid it. Now, this is how COVID-19 can affect workplaces. So absenteeism. People are less likely to be attending their place of employment due to them exhibiting symptoms or them taking care of another person that might be exhibiting symptoms or someone that is of high risk. Changes in patterns of commerce. Most of us have seen that many restaurants are now only offering to-go options, and most purchases are going to be online. So we need to focus a shift in this way to make sure that we can stay in business and stay around. Again, interrupted supply and delivery. Some of your suppliers may be short-staffed now, so you need to understand that it's going to take longer for delivery to happen, just like it's going to affect the amount of supply in a grocery store. Now, this is the types of jobs and their exposure risk. So very high risk are the medical, postmortem, or laboratory positions. Anyone that is of high risk is going to be peripheral to those. So anybody that could be nurses or reception in a medical facility, or postmortem facility, or a laboratory. Medium risk is people with general contact to the general public, such as schools, high population density work environments, and some high volume retail settings, such as grocery stores or supply stores right now. Low, you do not require contact with people or are infrequently exposed to the general public. Here's OSHA's 5 steps for employers to take in order to protect their employees from exposure. Develop an infectious disease preparedness and response plan. Prepare to implement basic infection prevention measures. Develop policies and procedures for prompt identification and isolation of sick people if appropriate. Develop, implement, and communicate about workplace flexibilities and protections. And make sure to implement workplace controls, engineering, administrative, safe work practices, and personal protective equipment. One of our sponsors offers a way to make sure that your facility is extra safe by having antimicrobial flooring systems. This is Dynamic Coatings Incorporated. They are FDA, USDA, and OSHA compliant. Call them at their Fresno, Sacramento, San Diego, and other locations. Here are the federal critical infrastructures. Critical manufacturing sectors that are considered critical during this time will be kept open. So there's the primary metals, machinery, electrical equipment, appliance and components, and transportation equipment. Food and agriculture. The food and agriculture sector industries are farms, restaurants, and food. There are 2.1 million farms, 935,000 restaurants, and 200,000 food manufacturers, processors, and stores. The industries that are critical to supporting food and farming are water and wastewater systems, transportation systems, energy, and chemical. The Family First Coronavirus Response Act. So this is where it gets more complicated. Businesses that are covered are certain public employers and private employers with fewer than 500 employees. Those that are not covered are most federal employees, because expanded provisions for family and medical leave are still there, but they will be covered by paid sick leave. Small businesses with fewer than 50 employees may qualify for exemption. These are the necessary things for qualifying for leave for employees. Their federal, state, or local quarantine or isolation order related to COVID-19, a healthcare provider or advisory has advised them to self-quarantine related to COVID-19, or they are experiencing symptoms and are seeking a medical diagnosis. The pay for this would be the regular rate applicable to minimum wage, whichever is higher, or up to $511 per diem and $5,110 in the aggregate during a 2-week period. And those that are caring for an individual subject to those orders stated above in 1 and 2, or those experiencing any substantial similar conditions specified by the Secretary of Health and Human Services in consultation with the Secretaries of Labor and Treasury, will receive 2/3 the regular rate of pay and 2/3 applicable minimum wage, whichever is higher, up to $200 per diem and $2,000 during a 2-week period. Those caring for their child who is not in school or place of care their place of care is closed, or child care provider is unavailable for reasons related to COVID-19, full-time employees will have up to 12 weeks of leave, 40 hours a week. Part-time will leave up to the number of hours that they normally are scheduled to work during that period. 2/3 regular rate, or 2/3 the applicable minimum wage, whichever is higher, up to $200 per diem and $12,000 in the aggregate 12-week period. 2 weeks of paid leave and 10 weeks of paid extended family and medical leave. This is what assistance is available for small businesses during the outbreak. Again, those that are covered are allowed certain assistances. Certain public employers and private employers with fewer than 500 employees are allowed a reimbursement of dollar for dollar through tax credits on all qualifying wages. Their leave and pay cap requirements must be met, though. Amounts paid and incurred in health insurance coverages are also going to be reimbursed. For more information, please make sure to contact the Department of the Treasury or look at their website. Another source that can help you is the Cal Asian Chamber of Commerce. They are providing a business triage center where they will help you connect with financial resources and how to go forward with your response with COVID-19. You can email them COVID-19 impact technical assistance needed at those 2 emails and those 2 representatives shown, or visit calasianalliance.org. One of the things that they will be helping you with is the Small Business Administration's disaster loan. So those that are federally declared a state or territory in a disaster that you only need greater than or equal to 5 small businesses that have suffered substantial economic injury. This is a statewide issue, and it will be for future and current declarations. As of March 20th, 50 states, the District of Columbia, 5 territories, and 1 tribe are working directly with FEMA underneath the nationwide emergency declaration for COVID-19. And we will be having an event with California food producers. They're having their annual board of directors meeting. It will be on April 30th. You can have legislative and regulatory updates from California League of Food Processors Government Affairs directors, and they will be giving you more information about how coronavirus will be affecting California's food processing industry. For more information, make sure to visit clfp.com or check out their event page, foodprocessingexpo.org. So we have gone over the World Health Organization symptoms for COVID-19, what to do if you contract COVID-19, facts that the CDC has been emphasizing, and then FEMA fact checks of misinformation, how COVID-19 could affect workplaces, the types of jobs that have the most exposure risk and the least exposure risk, federal critical infrastructures within manufacturing and food and agriculture that are meant to stay open during this period, the Family First Coronavirus Response Act, and what kind of assistance is available to businesses during the outbreak. Make sure to subscribe to WCISmag.com and have all of the updates on this going forward. It will be all of the industries: manufacturing, food and beverage, food processing, and agriculture. Again, we have just gone out to print, but we are still open for subscriptions, so please visit WCISmag.com/subscribe.